Well, guys, welcome to a special Wednesday night edition of Talking Iowa Hawkeye Sports. We are live tonight. It's a Wednesday night. We got a lot on board. We're gonna talk about the women's games that were, and the game coming up. The two games coming up for them. The men's game last night. Got more portal news and recruiting news. We got it all. Just stay tuned with us and talk to us and leave a comment or two. And while you're at it, while you're watching, go ahead right now and hit that subscribe button. So
might as well like it. Might as well like it too.
Hit the like button. That helps the algorithm. Subscribers, it's working our way. We can get more subscribers and more likes, and I can find a sponsor and make this show look more professional and more credible. So do it and share it out, guys. Share it out. I mean, the views have been up after we went through a period of no views for a while. Not no views, but not very many views. We have really taken off, and the views are starting to come in. So, hey, we had 3 people to start the show, but I guess I bored them to death. We're back at 0. All righty, guys, to get you started, Kelvin wants to talk a little bit of recruiting news. I believe it's the women's recruiting, right? Or more?
There's a couple other things.
Okay.
But you want me to roll with it?
Yeah, go ahead and roll with it.
Okay. First thing I was going to mention was not recruiting, was Addie Deal was Big Ten Freshman of the Week. Very deserving. Sure happy for her. I know Dean's very happy for her, too. And then Hannah was Big Ten Player of the Week, announced by the Big Ten. And then Hannah was National Associated Press Player of the Week. And then she was the United States Women's Basketball Association Player of the Week nationally also.
Girls had a busy week. I don't know if you noticed that, but I put both Addie and Hannah's pictures up there for you.
Yeah. But I'm very happy. You know, Dean, how much criticism them 2 girls took.
Yes.
During the season. It's like, it's crazy. Hannah's been a beast for 4 years.
And they're turning on her. On her senior year, they were turning on her.
Well, it's like the girl gets, sure, she's missing a layup, but she's getting hammered when she's missing, and people, she can't even make a layup. Leave the girl alone. You're gonna miss her next. You're gonna miss her next year out there. You're sure going to miss her next year. Yeah. I'll guarantee you that.
I wonder if anybody noticed how many times Michigan State tackled her and how many times Oregon tackled her. I mean,
God,
that girl having to fight through a lot of people.
Yeah, bloody cut on her face and everything.
Yeah, and no foul called.
I wanted to mention a girl I'd never heard of before as far as recruiting. Iowa hasn't offered her yet, but she's from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. 5'8" guard. She's a sophomore named Bentley Dill. I guess her father's a doctor in the area or something, and she's putting up a lot of points, and she's been offered by Arizona State and Drake, and I wouldn't be surprised she keeps progressing. Who knows? She might end up at Iowa. So, we got 2 visitors for Sunday's game at 1:00 on Peacock, Ohio State Buckeyes. One's got a famous father. She's Ari Peterson from Minneapolis, or the Minnesota-Minneapolis area. She's also a sophomore. in
Why don't
high
you tell
school.
everybody who her father is? They may be curious.
Adrian Peter. I was going to Adrian
Okay.
Peterson, the famous Minnesota Viking running back. I'm sure he might have finished up his career someplace else too. Originally from the University of Oklahoma, but she's 6'1" and she can dunk. She was 6'1" last time I seen her play, and she's not people call her a power forward or something, but I think she's more of like a 3 or something like that. But she is very fast, good leaper. She just isn't built like a power forward. Neither's Miss Volitsko either. But anyway, and the other one coming in is also a sophomore, and she's the phenom from Arkansas named Easton McCullough. And she's just a very prolific scorer. She's also a little bit on the lean order. Kind of looks like Pete Maravich or something for us old people. And me and Dean are old. And of course,
we remember Pete.
yeah, Pistol Pete.
Pistol Pete.
Yeah. And then what game was that last weekend? Who'd we play, Dean?
Oregon.
We had the Wilson sisters in. Maya, who's a 2020, she's a junior, and her sister Ashley Wilson. They're both the Wilsons from up in Minnesota. She's a 2030. 2030, I think, is an 8th grader.
Yeah, that would be right, because I think 9th graders are 29.
Yeah. That might be Maya that's pictured there.
Well, I'm going to go through these pictures here because I don't know. I do know that this one's definitely not her. I mean, and that one's probably not her.
That's Claire. That was the one you just did was Claire Stoops, and that's Ash. That's Claire Stoops, who I was going to mention from Zionsville, Indiana, and she's 2030. Also, Zionsville, Ohio, and she's no relation to the Stoopses, the Iowa Stoopses.
Okay, so this must be one of the Wilson sisters, as was that very first picture I showed you.
Yeah, the youngest Wilson sister has blonde hair. Okay, and it so also could be, but that could have been Brinsley Altenberg from South Dakota too.
Okay.
She's a junior in high school. She is a great player. Another guard. All these players are guards.
What about this one? You remember her name?
Yeah, that's Jurak. Well, not Jurak. Riak or something.
This is Manuel's sister, right?
No.
This is not Manuel's sister. Okay.
No, I think that's the player from Wisconsin who's a top 10 player and she's a year. I ain't got her written down, but she's like a year behind that Jada Soybert that just committed, or maybe they're in the same class, but they're from Wisconsin.
Okay. I do know in the pictures that we got.
She's a 6'2" guard. She's the type of guard that goes and plays at South Carolina, that overpower you.
Yeah.
And
I know that too, that really Manuel's sister was there this weekend too.
Not that I know of. Somebody put that out, but I never saw anything about her being there. She's 6'3". She don't look like that. She's tall and lean like her brother.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't think she visited. I seen somebody put out that she visited, but that's not true. And then we found out that Jada, who committed from Wisconsin, who's a junior, she's a junior, and that girl you just showed a picture is a sophomore.
Okay.
Jada's last name is Well, this Jada girl that just committed, she's shooting up the ranks. That girl's the highest ranked, 10th.
Okay.
And Jada, we found out you pronounce her last name Soybert. S
Soybert.
Soybert. I
Soybert.
put up a
Okay.
video. I put up a video of her being interviewed on your site and other sites this week. And
Yeah, I need to go back and watch that because I know that she talked about her decision to join Iowa.
boy, is she a good. She's a tall guard, lefty. Boy, can she pass. Boy, can she shoot. She improved her shooting, and she has jumped up from a 70th ranked recruit. And now, the day before she committed, the rating services jumped her up into the 30s. And I won't be surprised if she doesn't jump up some more, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't change her. She's still the same player.
She's got another whole year to develop.
Yep.
She got the rest of this year and next year to develop before she gets to Iowa City. But we need to get some more 27s in. I know we don't have a lot of room on the. That we do. I forgot we're losing 4 seniors this year.
Yeah, 4 seniors and
possibly 2 or 3 more current players into the portal. But I refuse to believe it. Although
I wouldn't be surprised if Kenise Johnson takes a medical or something, because she doesn't seem to like her leg is ever getting better. But I'm not gonna comment on any kids leaving.
I don't think so either. I want to see them all stay. I mean, because I believe in Emily, and I hope she actually stays. And Tegan, I know the rumors are out there. The rumor is running wild, and that's because her dad started a rumor with his little tweet
he put up. I seen what he tweeted. Parents can be a pain in the butt, So
they can be. The best
I know
kids and the easiest kids to coach is when the parent just turns it over to the coach and say, "Coach, you do what's best for your team. Do what's best for her." You know,
you're a parent. You're not the coach. And let the coaches coach. Let the coaches talk to your kids and whatever. All I know is after the game the other night, there were 3 players out there practicing shooting over and over and over again, and it was Taylor McCabe, Tegan Mullaney, and Addie Deal. So they're out there, after the game, and they're out there practicing. So that's a good thing. One other news that I thought was interesting was Tate Sage played so good. The freshman that Ben, he said today in his news conference that, or last night, whenever it was, he said, when we got Sage, we didn't know that. We thought he could play in the Big Ten, but we thought it might be a couple years. And here he is as a true freshman playing, and the NBA is talking about him already. I kind of predicted he'll take. He's a pretty good ball handler, and he's 6'6" or 7 or whatever. He might be the guy that kind of takes Sturtz's place next year. But I thought it was interesting. He has a twin brother who's playing for Pittsburgh State down in Kansas. Okay. And Ben offered him, but he would not come play with his brother. He wanted to see how they got along, except, split them up, and the brothers didn't really want to follow each other. They wanted to see if they could make their own way. But I think it'd be cool if he came up to Iowa. But anyway, the other thing is interesting in football, high school recruiting is with all this new schedule they got and everything, and Iowa doesn't have very many scholarships for high school players next year. I think they only have 8 graduating seniors, something like that. I could look real quick, but they got more than that. And they'll probably lose Lauk and Pieper, to the pros, but they got 4, 7, 9, because Entringer dropped off. They had 10. Now they got 9. plus probably Pieper and Lauk. So that's 11. So I was moved up there, kind of a junior day event, to the last day of January. Isn't that weird? It's usually the last day of June, ain't it?
Yes.
Dean.
Yes.
So they've kind of moved that up, and they've already got like 3 commitments, right? 3 or 4 commitments. They got Cooper DeJean, and then the 2 linebackers, Stecker and Bingham. I don't think they have another one. But anyway, so it's kind of interesting. Will Slagle, who's one of the top offensive linemen in the country, he's from Grinnell. And his dad played at Iowa State and everything. And he committed to Iowa State already. But then when Campbell left, he didn't like it. So now he's kind of open. He's still interested in Iowa State, Iowa, and Penn State. And he's going to be at that junior day thing. So, and that's kind of the rundown of my news, Dean. So you take it away and lead me to redemption.
As long as we opened up with a lot of women's stuff, let's just talk about the Michigan State game. And I'm going to be honest here. I don't have my notes for the Michigan State game. Do you have? How about your memory? How's it working?
I am damn glad that Michigan State's probably 2 players that were the most dangerous, Van Sluten, and then that was her name Jones, that athlete.
Oh my God!
I'm glad they got in foul trouble early.
Yeah,
because
we
won that. Yeah, we won that pretty easily, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, the sad thing about it is Van Sluten. I mean, we saw the second half and what she could do and why she's their top player. And that Jones just ran out of gas. But she was killing us too in the second half. But did you notice these guys got in foul trouble in the first half, but didn't have one foul call on them in the second half? And with I believe it's 2 minutes to go in the game. They'd only had 2 fouls called on them in the entire second half, third and fourth quarter.
That was either an adjustment by the officials under pressure from the other coach, or the Michigan State players knew that, hey, we can't foul.
Well, I mean, the thing is they weren't getting called for it. They were pretty much manhandling our team. I just don't realize it. What is it about Iowa that everybody just thinks they got to go in and tackle us, hold us, hit us, elbow us? I've never seen such egregious fouls. And then in that game, I believe there was some traveling call not called in that game, as well as last night's game. But we'll get to that.
And another advantage Iowa had, which Michigan State hadn't had her all year, is Halleck, who was the second best returning player on Michigan State. She got hurt, and I think she's only played like 2 games. So Michigan State had a little foul trouble, and then they don't have that girl, But that was a big win. Michigan State's a heck of a team, and you could see it that they're a really very good team, and they're pretty deep. So that was a great win, and
we had Hannah scored over 20 points that game. I can't remember. I don't have that in front of me.
Probably. I don't know. She one game she had 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. Yeah. And so.
Yeah, and then Ava. I can't remember if she had a good game or not.
I can't remember if the chit chat, did she hit the long shot against Michigan State or against Oregon?
No, it was against Michigan State at halftime.
Okay.
We were only up 4, and she threw that up there, or we were only up 3, I think. And she hit that and gave us a 6-point lead at the end of the first quarter. That, to me, okay, this is bringing back some memories. Okay. So, outside of that being a great play, I loved it because, she took it and she just didn't heave it. she actually took the time when you watch the replay to set herself up in position to hit that, and it was all net. It didn't hit a rim or a glass and hit in or bounce in.
Yeah,
She just swished it.
yeah. I
You
put
know.
up. There was three different videos of it, and I put up all three of them. But the middle one, the slow motion one by the Big Ten Network, you could just see she shot it with one hand like you're supposed to. Perfect rotation on the ball. And everybody on the bench, including Jan, she said the ball was halfway there, and she says, that's good. Like,
Yeah, you
So
could tell, right? I
it was
love
just
that
a
Kelly
beautiful,
Levine
it was
came
just
off
a,
the bench at the end of the quarter and chest bumped her, and you
yeah,
know, Callie's
yeah.
Callie not getting the minutes that she wants, but Callie's still cheering her team on and all laughs and all smiles.
Yeah, our whole bench is a family, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's what makes us get recruits, and same way in football
yeah.
and other
But I think
sports.
one of the other things that Hannah has struggled with has been that step back elbow shot.
Well,
Because she's
yeah.
been, yeah, but she made a few of them or a couple of them at least in this game, and that one with 2 seconds left on the shot clock and hit that faded, step back shot. I go, oh my gosh, she probably. Oh, go ahead. Okay, never mind. She made it.
Hannah said after the game they asked her about that shot. They said, describe that. And Hannah just looked. Hannah's funnier than heck, and she
She
just
is.
says, I was in the zone like that. And Ava, she laughed. But,
Yeah, but you
she
see,
was in the
she
zone.
was all smiles. I mean, Hannah's been like, she's had like the weight of the world on her shoulders the last
Yeah.
few games, and after that shot, she was just a smiling so much.
Mhm.
You could
Yep.
just tell. I hope this gives her the confidence to do what we all know
Yeah.
she can do.
I just thought in that game, just about every player played good. We didn't play a lot of players, maybe only 8 of them. I
Yeah,
think Houston and Deal and Hayes were the only ones I remember in this on the box score that played that were
Strumlow,
reserved.
Strumlow.
Oh, Tremolo played? Yeah, just
Yeah.
not a lot, but yeah.
No,
So we
and
played
the
9
funny thing
players.
about it, yeah, funny is Strimlo was starting and getting a lot of minutes when Chit Chat was hurt, and then when
Mhm,
Kylie was hurt, she was getting minutes and starting. And now that both Chit
mhm.
Chat and Kylie are now both back and healthy and both playing very well.
Well,
um,
and when Addie Deal can't make a shot, you're not telling Addie to sit down
mm-mm.
off the
No,
bench. There's
four for
only so
four from the
many.
three-point line.
There's only so many bench minutes, right, Dean?
Yes, yes. I mean, and we
Unless
all have
foul
our
trouble
favorite
here.
players, and it's sad to see Strimlo sitting on the bench because she has been very productive this year. It's sad to see Callie Levine on the bench. I mean, not that she's a world beater, not that she's the best player on the team, but I like it when she's out there. I love what she can do with the ball. She's really a
We,
good passer. She
we
really can
all
out.
we all know that it's cyclical. This week Stremlo could be a star. You know, uh,
Mhm.
you just don't know. But
Yeah, yeah. It'll happen, and it's just the same with Tegan Mullaney. There's just not enough minutes to go around anymore. But we know that girl can play. You know, I know
yeah,
that the very first game she ever got into this year, I think she had a turnover or something right away, and so she only had a minute or two in the game. And
wasn't the first game the one where she rolled her ankle and only
oh,
played
was
2
that very
minutes?
first? Yeah, that was the very first
And
game.
it
You're
was a
right. That's why
bad
she only.
ankle, it was a bad ankle, so then she didn't come back for several games.
Yeah, and I
You
think
know.
that hurt her. That hurt her.
Well, yeah, I gave Journey Houston the minutes, and Journey Houston played like the
Yeah.
best 6 man in basketball.
Yeah,
You know.
Journey. Yeah, if just think
Mhm.
if Tegan hadn't gotten hurt and rolled her ankle and missed so many games, Journey would probably still be on the bench.
Yeah,
Tegan would be playing all the time. But I
yeah,
believe in Tegan. I believe she can play.
yeah. Opportunities will arise the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So it just and now the Iowa women go into it's like a death march of a schedule, right, Dean?
Yes. Um. Yes, it's gonna be hard. They've
Mm-hmm.
got Maryland on the road. Okay. And out of all those games, Maryland might be the one that they can beat, but Maryland's not going to be a pushover, and we're going to talk about Maryland.
I see you got a comment. What does it say?
He says it's from Collector's Dream, and hey guys, he's the one
Hey
that goes
guys,
out there and he's telling everybody to like and share our podcast.
cool.
Okay. And
Thank you.
subscribe. Thank you, collectors. We appreciate that.
Thank you for helping Dean.
Mm-hmm. Nice to get the jaded Soybert comment. How might you say Soybert?
Soybert.
Okay. He also said that. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're anxious to see her play when she gets to Iowa City in 2 years. Hopefully, I'm still alive and still doing this podcast.
Shit. You'll probably be alive when her daughter comes and plays at Iowa. So.
God, I'd be 100 and something years old. Jeez.
I don't know. Well, it's possible that 25 years, however old you'd be, about 90 maybe.
In 25 years, I would be 95.
Oh, that is old. It is. Maybe our brains will work. Yeah. Maybe our brains will work better that when we're 90 than they are now, Dean.
Yeah. I mean, I will be 70 later this year, and I'm already dreading it because I'm officially old as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But you know what? Kirk and I, for 3 months, will be the same age. If Kirk can do it, by God, I can do it. And we're going to talk about that later, about Kirk. I drug up something today, and it's some old stuff, but I'm going to dig it up anyway.
Yeah, it's funny. Kirk's too old, but Signetti ain't. There's only 5 or 6 years difference, but and Kirk is in a lot better physical shape than Kirk Signetti is.
Yeah. But hey, I know that we're talking women's hoops here right now, but we got to give hats off to Kirk Signetti for voting Iowa 11th in his poll because he's the only coach to vote them that high. Most of them had him in the 16, 17, 18 range.
And he had a very well thought out vote. Somebody put up his vote today, and they said he should be the only voter in the AP. And he didn't really favor Big Ten teams. He had Michigan out of it. He didn't even have them in the top 25. So you couldn't have said he was a Big Ten homer, really. But anyway, it's pretty interesting. He had Notre Dame like 6th because I don't know why, but
okay. They weren't top 12. They didn't qualify for the playoffs. They got left out of the playoffs, and then they decided to sit home in their bowl game. But I see in the I think it's ESPN's 2 early rankings for next year. They do have Notre Dame up there in the top 5, I think.
Yeah, but Signetti, I think, was voting as to, he'd watch these teams play during the year, and he voted where he thought what teams he thought were the best teams.
Yeah,
nobody else would have Notre Dame that high. But
honestly, coaches are probably better. I mean, but they get to see some of these teams through when they're scouting other teams and when they're scouting you. And so, okay.
But I looked at a lot of the coaches that voted, and a lot of them were very biased. If they were an SEC school, they had all the SEC schools, or if the coach was from the South, like the Navy coach named Ellsbury, I think it was. He was from Georgia originally, and he didn't even have Iowa in the top 25. So he had a regional bias, but
and I believe you think Mark Stoops did as well.
Yes, he did. He didn't even have Iowa in the top 25, and it's like, are you crazy?
Maybe he has a vendetta against Iowa. Maybe
he had Vanderbilt like 14th. It's like, and I don't have a problem with Vanderbilt being a notch ahead of Iowa as long as they're close, But good gosh, if Iowa ain't in the top 25, how could Vanderbilt be like 14th? But anyway.
All right, let me go on to before we hit Maryland, I want to
Mm-hmm.
just give a quick rundown of the current standings as of today
Mm-hmm.
in the league. Maryland, as we will find out, does play. No, I'm sorry. Ohio State plays Indiana tomorrow night. So that record will change by the time we get to Ohio State. But anyway, everybody knows that Iowa and UCLA are top of the Big Ten standings at 7 each.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa 16-2, and UCLA at 17-1. Michigan at 6-1. Ohio State at 6-1. So yeah, Ohio State coming in, they're going to be rough. That's like we said. This is a rough stretch, guys, of games that we're in right now. I don't know.
Yeah. And Indiana played in that big special tournament where Vandy beat Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
and Ohio State played TCU and upset them. TCU was ranked ninth, I think, and so Ohio State was ranked 12th, I think, something like that, and they upset TCU. So that was a good win for Ohio State Buckeyes. So.
Okay, yeah, I did. When did they play that? This weekend?
Just a couple days ago.
I wonder what it was. Was it a challenge or something?
Because I messaged it, I was following it, and I messaged you, and I said, "Well, Vandy just beat Michigan,
Yeah,
and
I was just
Vandy's
trying to.
19-0."
Yeah, no, I was just trying to. I was just trying to figure out why we were stepping out of conference in the middle of a conference season to
It
do
was
this.
some special little tournament. I don't know if it was for cancer or what.
Did they put this
You
together
know?
at the last minute, which is why they paired
Oh
up Michigan
no,
and Vandy?
no. They
Okay.
picked four teams that they thought were going to be pretty evenly matched, and Vandy only beat Michigan by like 3 or something.
Yeah,
You know,
Michigan's
and it was
still
a
tough.
real both games were pretty close and very competitive. At least it wasn't a tournament that invited UConn and everybody had to sit around and watch UConn beat somebody by 40 points. So
Yeah. Okay, so here's the rest of it. I mean, the top teams in the league, as we already know, are Michigan and Ohio State at 6-1, right behind Iowa and UCLA. Michigan State, which we just beat, we gave them their second loss, 6-2. Illinois 5-3, Maryland 5-3. These teams, I think, are all on our 6-game stretch right now, right?
I know UCLA and USC are right.
Yes, at the end of the month.
Yeah.
I believe one plays on Thursday night, the 29th, and the other one plays on Sunday, February 1st. I don't remember which is which. I'm hoping the
One thing
USC game is on the 1st.
one thing we got to mention about the poor coach at Maryland is she is playing without five of her good players. Four of them are out for the season. So
Do you know which ones they're missing? By
I
any
don't know.
chance?
I sent you the injury report, but to be honest, I don't even know the kids, them players' names. But
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna go over some of the Maryland people later
yeah,
here. Okay.
yeah.
Um. Anyway, we got Illinois, then Washington at 4-3. They're coming up on our pretty soon, right? I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or did we beat them already?
Did you
I
say
can't.
Washington?
Yeah, I don't think we played them yet.
Hmm.
Okay, Wisconsin 4-4, who are scaring the daylights out of people. They're been in just about every game. They had a game last night, didn't they? And they almost
I think
beat
they
some.
have one. I think they have one tonight. I think maybe I shouldn't say. I was going to guess and say Nebraska was visiting them, but
Well, they're the only team in the league so far to have 8 games. I'm sorry, 2 teams. So I doubt if they're playing tonight. They're probably on a bye right now.
okay.
Okay. All right. Then Minnesota and Nebraska and USC all at 3-4. USC overall is 11-7, so they're not the team they were but they're missing Juju, which most people think will never play another quarter of basketball for college, and I don't know who they're missing another star player unless she's back. But I just heard somebody mention that they were down two of their stars.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Then Oregon and Purdue at 2-5, Northwestern at 2-6, Rutgers at 1-6, and I'd never thought I'd see this. Indiana at 0-7, 11-8. They have always been right near the top to the middle to the top of the pack. And Penn State at 0-8. So, nationally, Big Ten teams are UCLA at number 3, Michigan at 7, Iowa at 10, Ohio State at 12, Michigan State at 13, Maryland at 15, Nebraska at 24. I think I got them all.
Okay.
Oh, Washington at 25. So that's not, Okay. Claretta Scott King Classic, followed by UConn burying Notre Dame by 37. That's by Rick. I'll say Rick's. I'll just say Rick's 2, I guess, or Rick's the I. Sorry, Rick, if I messed up your name. I'll just call you Rick from here on out.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Maryland. As we already said, they are 17-3. They're 6 in the Big Ten, 5-3. Of course, Iowa comes in at 16-2, 7-0, first place. Maryland's losses are to Illinois, but we already know Illinois is a good team. They lost by 3, 73-70. They lost to number 19 Ohio State, 89-76. And that game, I looked it up, was at home for Ohio State. And then, of course, UCLA, 97-67 loss. Gosh, I hope UCLA doesn't do that to us.
Well, like I said, you gotta say that Maryland's missing a lot of players. So
yeah.
So only 3 losses. Only 3 losses is pretty good.
Yeah.
Well,
so. let me go back to getting some of this other stuff out of the way then. I'm looking for the Maryland stuff. I think this is it right here. That's Ohio State. What do I have them there for? Oh, here's Maryland stuff. So I can't even begin to say this name. Olachi Kaminawa is their leader at 17.2 points a game. She's played in all 20 games this year, so she's still around.
She's pretty unstoppable.
Is she their center?
I think she's a great rebounder and scorer, but I'm not sure. But
okay. Well, okay.
I know On3's write-up was saying how great she was as far as what percentage of rebounds and scoring she does for them and all that.
I should probably go in and pull that On3 article up. I did read it and I meant to take some notes. The next person that they got in line is at 13.1 points a game, but she's only played 7. She may be one of the injured ones. Kayleen Smickle. Smickle.
Yeah, I think she's one that's not playing. But.
Yeah, okay. And then this one's played 20 games, so that's definitely not one of the ones that's hurt. At 12.9 points a game is Yarda Garzon. Look, all these names look like they went overseas and pulled all these names from overseas.
Well, I think Garzon's one of the reasons that Indiana's not good. I think they paid her to go to Maryland and leave Indiana. A couple girls that went portaling, I think. Okay. And I think Garzon was one of them, if I remember right.
Okay, these next 2 girls, I remember their names very well, but they've only played in 18 games, so they might be 2 of the girls who were hurt. Addie Mack and a girl with the last name of Poffenbarger. I remember her. They're each averaging over 10 points, close to 11 points a game. Then you got another 20-game player. So far, it looks to me, Ozzy Momadu. I wish they had the little charts there to help. But she's averaging 18.1s a game. Leah Bartolome has only played in 4 games. And so only
You
other
can tell
person to
by
play in all 20 games is Myra. Gosh,
yeah,
Bokioko. And
yeah.
she's averaging 4 points a game. Their top rebounder is Isamini Ozzy Manado. I tried to say that name earlier. She rebounds 6.6 a game. Poffenbarger is their leader in assist litter at 3.2. Steals. Olachi Okanawa is there. She steals. That's 2 steals a game, and that Ozzy Mamadou has 1. Has 1 block per game. So
I don't care how many players they're missing. It's going to be a really tough game because
they're all
that
they're all talented. It's just like
that Brenda Freeze, she can coach, and she coaches very aggressive, and never give up, competitive person, and
I don't think it helps either that so their transfers are from Duke, Arkansas, UConn. Somebody's been to both. Parfenbarger has been to Arkansas and UConn. Yarden Garzon, as you stated, is from Indiana. McLean is from Virginia and UConn. Huh? They're picking up kids from UConn.
I pulled that name coming from Indiana out of my rear end. I'll tell you that. So I was pretty sure about it, but I wasn't sure. So anyway, sometimes the old brain works.
All right. Well, here's Maryland's official stats for the year. Points per game is 85.7. Points allowed per game, 56.7. I reckon you know where that ranks in the Big Ten. That's got to be number 1.
29 point differential.
Yeah, tell me about it. Okay. They got an offensive rating of 115.3, defensive rating of 76.3. Their most notable win is Delaware State because they set a school record for fewest points allowed at 21 points. Okay. And so it just goes on and gives us top people again. So I'm just trying to see if there's anything else I need to bring up.
No.
I also have the Ohio State roster here in front of me if we want to talk about them.
Good. Well, we know their main player is Cambridge. Jelani Cambridge, the great point guard who is National High School Player of the Year, and now she's a sophomore. So,
yep, and she
boy, is she good.
Yeah, where's her point?
There's two Cambridges on there, but she's the good one.
She's the listed number 1. Plays 30 minutes a game. She averages 21 points a game. She has 44 steals on the season, 7 block shots, 60 turnovers though, 86 assists. She's been disqualified twice, which I guess that means on fouls. She averages 5.5 rebounds a game. She has 0.83% or 83% on free throws, which is really good. Her 3-point shooting, she's not the best at, 18 for 71 for 25%.
Yeah.
Her field goal percentage is 30%. No, 50%. I'm sorry. 50%. Yeah. And so, yeah, I would say that.
And she's like Bennett Sturts when Ohio State, when the time clock's running down, she's the one that's going to throw up a shot where she's guarded, and it might be a 3-pointer, and that affects your shooting percentage when when because she is the player on Ohio State.
Oh yeah,
just
there's
like
no doubt about it. Her
yeah,
sister averages 8 points a game.
yeah.
Has 78 steals.
Mhm.
Averages 4.4 rebounds a game. Her
Mhm.
free throw shooting is not quite as good as her sister's, 60%. Okay. But yeah, and so Chance Gray is and Kylie Kitts are the other two good ones on their team. And
Mhm.
they're averaging 13 points a game and 9 points a game. They must not
Yeah.
be averaging a whole lot of points. Oh, they got a lot of balance going down the hill, though. 9 points, 8 points, 8 points, 6 points, 5 points, 4 points, 4 points. And
And
so, but anyway,
as you know, Dean, they win a lot of games with their press,
yes,
turning you over and everything. And so uh, I think you just don't want to just look at the offensive side because kind of like Ben McCollum wins a lot of games defensively, and
yes,
and so does the coach at Ohio State. Even if he doesn't have the best players, they got a system.
mm,
So
yeah. You got to stick with the system to help because I don't know these girls aren't going to have. Maryland presses a lot too, by the way, as does
yep.
Ohio State. We're both pressing teams. That's how they win their games. They turn over, and Iowa's very prone to turnovers, as we know.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. I don't
if
know if
I'm a
they'd
coach,
be.
I'm pressing them all the time.
They'd probably be. When you say Dean, well, Oregon's good, but probably the two teams most noted for their press every year. You know,
Yep,
driving you nuts.
yeah,
So
yeah, yep. I agree. Which is
yeah,
why we don't get a lot of victories over them.
yeah.
Um. Okay, so here they are. They're scoring 85 points a game and
Hmm.
giving up 63 a game. Let's go and see turnovers per game. They're forcing 23 turnovers a game.
Holy
All right,
cow!
buddy, and only giving up 13 on their own. Their turnover
That'll
margin is plus 9.4.
that'll win some
9.4.
ball. That'll win some ball games, won't it, Dean?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Says two of my three favorite Hawkeyes, the Dina Mean and the Killer Kelvin. Thank you, Terry. Glad to see you are doing better after the surgery. I'm just going to leave it there. I haven't had surgery
I remember
recently.
when I went in for my cancer surgery, and it was really the only surgery I ever got. And the doctor says, "Any past surgeries?" And I go, "Well, to be completely truthful, yes." And he goes, "What was it?" I said, "I think they cut my navel cord."
Did he laugh?
Yes, he did. But I think technically it'd be a surgery, right?
Yeah. Hey, Terry, it would be a memory on Facebook because I've had two complete knee surgeries replacements, and last one was this past April. So it's probably came up as a memory.
Yeah,
Um,
I had like four different surgeries after my cancer surgery, so they're starting to build up.
yeah.
So
Welcome to the show tonight, Terry. Alrighty.
yeah, hit
Their
that like
average.
button.
I was just going to say Ohio State is averaging 4.8 blocks a game, and their opponents are only getting 3 blocks a game. But probably because they're turning the ball over so much, they don't have time. They don't have enough possessions to get there. Okay, 3-point attempts per game. Completion 7.5, and they give up 3.1 or 6.1. Free throws. They're 76% free throw shooting team. Opponents are 69%. So
They're a real good free throw shooting team then.
yeah. That's pretty. I would wish Iowa would get theirs that high.
Yeah,
Their lack of free throw shooting is going to kill them pretty soon.
any team that's as a whole team is over 75%. It's a real good shooting.
Yeah, and that's I've said that before. If you can get to 75, then you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
What do you think our odds are against these two teams?
It's going to be tough. We have to against both these teams. We can't do it. We got to come up with a way to beat the press. All right. We can't have chit chat like she did the other night. Bring the ball up and get buried in a corner somewhere, because you notice every time she took the ball to the side, she was having people all over her, and nobody came to help her.
Yeah, she can't pick up her dribble either, and she ain't like Caitlin. Caitlin would get double teamed and trapped, and Caitlin was 6'1". Well, Chit Chat's 5'4", whatever she is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot harder.
She could duck underneath them people and dribble her way out.
Yeah, this is not Three Stooges basketball.
No, but Caitlin, when she would get double teamed and trapped like that, she would just usually find a way to create a foul. They would draw a foul off of somebody.
And I'm kind of worried about Addie has really progressed, but I'm worried about her dribbling in the open court against a press.
She is kind of careless a little bit.
Well, that's just she's young yet.
Yeah.
Last year I was terribly concerned about Stremlo, who turned the ball over a lot. Stremlo this year, I have more faith. McCabe and Kylie Feuerbach were not good ball handlers their whole career at Iowa, and this year they're pretty good.
Yeah.
So you're right. The press against both these teams, I think we're going to win both games, but I may be biased. But I just think Maryland's hurt, and I think Ohio State's like a two-person team. I don't remember the name of the other girl, Gray or whatever her name is, but it's Cambridge.
Cambridge?
Yeah, it's Cambridge. We better put Kylie Feuerbach on Cambridge. And when Kylie if she gets in foul trouble, we'll stick.
Chance Gray's the girl you're thinking of.
There you
Chance
go.
Gray.
And I thought it was Gray or something. And if Kylie gets in a little foul trouble, we better switch. McCabe's a pretty good defensive player this year, And anyway.
Okay, so Chris wants to chime in on Ohio State. Jelani Cambridge shot at air ball from the free throw line on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, she's still probably leading the Big Ten in scoring. So
yeah. Okay. Chris also says the other sister, Kennedy Cambridge, couldn't get off the bench at Kentucky last year. Well, she's playing every game this year.
She's just kind of if you watch
their fourth leading score, and she's their fourth leading scorer.
Yeah, like I said they only got like two players. I'm really, but the coach is so good with his press, and the Cambridge girl that ain't that good is just kind of she's a gal that for this team is doing the dirty work. She blocks some shots as a off guard small forward, what the heck ever she is, and she digs for rebounds, and she's pesky. And people like that are still valuable, even though they're not, she is like I'd say she's like 1/25th the player that her sister is, but it is what it is.
So, let's move on. Oh, I never gave you odds on what I thought. I'm not going to call this. I don't know if they're going to win or lose. They could go 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2. It could go either way.
I'm going with 2-0, and I'm sticking with it. Maryland's got so many players hurt, but what Maryland does is their coaching. And Ohio State, like I said, they have two really good players. And Cambridge is an all Big Ten type player. She's like Miss Prince out there in Nebraska. She's that type of player. I think she's about 5'8", something like that. But very athletic. She plays taller than 5'8".
Alrighty.
And and
Cambridge
and
girls
but
are
but
actually.
again, what Ohio State has is a coach. Brenda Freeze and the coach there at Ohio State, they play this system of pressure, which is like Tom Davis's press. You can play above your talent level.
Yeah.
You know,
I just glad we're playing Ohio State at home because I do not like that coach for Ohio State, and
I don't either.
he kind of reminds me a little bit. I mean, I like Izzo and respect him, but I don't like the way he intimidates ref. Well, that's what that coach does for Ohio State women. He intimidates refs.
He to me, he coaches a lot like the guy at Iowa State, the men's coach. He coaches a lot of grabbing, slapping, scratching,
And none of it gets
defense.
called. And none of it gets called.
It's like Ben McCollum said today. We try to play great defense with our hands tied behind our back. We're not taught. Our hands are only used in the passing lane, pretty much. But the Ohio State coaches like Austin Blogger or whatever his name is at Ames, just very. It's like being coached by Terry Brands or something.
I don't know. Terry Brands doesn't coach his boys to be that aggressive
but Terry Brands, what I don't like about his coaching is about his whole technique is wrestling is hand fighting. Oh, God darn it. Make some shots.
In the face. He talked about that slapping in the face.
Well, all wrestlers do that, you pull at the head guard, you go down across, trying to make them blink. If they can blink, you can get a single leg. Yeah. I see we had a comment.
Yeah, it's Chris again says the Cambridge girls are actually fantastic people. I know their dad and their oldest sister Jordan. They set the all-time assist record at Vandy last year.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Yeah, the older Cambridge girl was at Vandy.
Okay, all right. Well, let's talk. Let's move on.
She might have hurt her knee or something. Go ahead.
Let's move on to the men's game last night against Rutgers, which I was very, very upset with. I let it be known in our group chat. Fortunately, I did not go public with my comments last night.
That stuff that's behind closed doors. We ain't gonna. Why even mention it?
That's true. Why should I?
Yeah.
But, yeah. Alrighty. So let me bring up.
I might have said something really stupid in the text thing. I don't know, but anyway.
You did, but I forgive you.
Okay. I apologize if I did.
Oh, it's fine. I didn't take it personally. We're all okay. So we win this game. I forgot what the final score was.
I don't know. I'll just guess 69-63. I don't know.
68-62.
Oh my God, I came close. I had no clue, but
yeah, just falling back on the Cambridge girl, tore both ACLs while she was at Vandy.
Yeah, okay. That's what I said, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so this game starts out rough, starts out slow, and I cannot figure out why we get off to these slow starts. Rutgers is a team, and I'm sorry if everybody disagrees with me. This is a team we should have come out of the gate very strong and just manhandled them from the beginning and had them wagging their tongues, by halftime. But as it is, and I do have there is a huge free throw discrepancy, although Jason said that there wasn't. Let's see. I'm going to use the one you sent me. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. So free throws. Oh, you didn't get the whole thing on there. You cut off all the Iowa stats. Oh, there it is. All righty. Their free throws were 19 for 24. Ours were 13 for 16. But we did hit an 81% free throw percentage. So that I'm happy about.
And one thing you got to throw in there that, our free throws started coming up at the end, to approach their number of free throws, but that's because they were fouling us to stop the clock.
That is true.
When you're ahead at the end of the game, you're going to pile up some free throws to kind of catch up.
Well, Jason, you said 19 fouls per game. What is the actual foul count? You're right. I don't understand. It says 19 each. But the discrepancy I'm talking about is the 19 for 24 and our 13 for 16. They made more free throws than we were actually allowed to attempt.
Yeah. And I think, like I said, and our attempts rose at the end of the game when we were ahead and they'd have to foul us and we'd have to go shoot a 1-and-1.
Yeah.
You know. And then they had to foul us several times at the end to get into the 1-and-1.
Yeah. Jason,
you know.
Jason, I sent you the link. Get on here and you can explain about the style of play, why the foul differential is going on. Now, get in here.
Rutgers, pretty much their whole thing is attacking the rim with their athletes. If you notice, Rutgers doesn't have a bunch of skilled shooters, but they got a bunch of athletes.
They got that number 21. What a beast! I don't know.
They had the center that looked like Akeem Olajuwon.
I think that's number 21.
I don't know. I thought he was number 0 or something, but I don't know. Yeah. I don't remember. But that's Rutgers. They attack the rim, but Iowa attacks the rim on most possessions. You know, we either attack the rim or throw it on out for a 3-pointer. You know, but
yeah. Okay.
But
Rick just wants to go on. He says, "I apologize." He goes, "The games you watched with Michigan and Ohio State in them was the Coretta Scott King Classic, followed by UConn beating Notre Dame by 37. Okay, thank you.
I understood what he was saying.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you were paying more attention. I wasn't paying attention like I should have been.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, this guy is number 21. I mean, I swear to God, he was never getting a foul called on him, yet he was in there pulling the ball away from us. You know, I mean, how do you get that many guys, including him, around our guys trying to rebound or shoot a shot around the rim and not get a foul called on you? You know, somebody talk to me about that.
That's the coach at Rutgers coaches that type of defense, you know, hands on you, you know, that's just the way. His name's Steve. I can't think of his last name, but that's the way that coach coaches, you know, and his teams have to play like that because this year they don't have a lot of offensive firepower. You know, last year they had the 2 freshmen who were going to go in the top 5 of the NBA draft. This year he don't have them, but
okay. Well, anyway, this number 21 is Emmanuel Ogubele.
That's the guy. He's the one that looked like Akeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, he had 8 total points. 2 for 4 for free throws, but 3 for 3 from field goal.
What? He dunks a lot. How many blocks did he have? Is it on your thing there or not?
It should be. I'll get it.
Yeah.
He's credited with 2 blocks.
Okay. I know there was one, and I think it was Tavian Banks or somebody went driving. They had a wide open. You thought a layup, and here come this guy soaring in like an eagle.
Yeah. He only had 2 fouls on him during the game, though, and 10 rebounds. 10 rebounds, 2 fouls on him. He created 2 turnovers, though. I mean, he had 2 turnovers and 1 assist. But, yeah, that guy was just like – and you know how much of a man he looked like? I swear to God that some of these schools are recruiting 30-year-old people to play for them. It seems like everybody we play. We got a team full of young-looking men. Men all look young. They look like their ages, 20 to 22, 23. We play against teams lately that these guys look like they're 30 years old and men, and they got all this thick beard and everything.
All I know is I hope if he's got eligibility left, we pay him to come to play for Iowa. So. He'd fit right in Ben's system, you know. But
anyhow, look at this. 2 of the starters didn't even score last night.
For us or them?
Them. Somebody else got 8. The leading scorer last night was Buchanan Jr. So it looks like he's their top player, right? At 17
It,
points, and then Tarkeek Francis, he was also a good player for them last night. 15 points.
mhm.
Nobody else really did much, so this was a low scoring game, and they pretty much it was pretty much, I don't know, back and forth affair, really. They get up, we get up, they get up, we get up. I think the largest lead we had was 8. And then next thing we know, we're looking up at them for down 5 after
I
we
know,
had 8
I
point
know,
lead.
I know. Ben said in his news conference, he says sometimes you have an off night and you got a battle to win, and he said that's what we did. You
Yeah,
know,
they found a way to win. They
it
found a way to win.
wasn't
I
our
mean,
wasn't our best game. He said we lost concentration at times. He said things we worked on the scouting report, you know, and then we come in here and we forget it, you know. Got to focus and concentrate a little better. So,
well, here's something. Isaiah Howard, you know how much I like him, but I
you
was
know.
kind of mad at him last night, saying we should just bench him because. But it turns out that he was a plus 22 while he was in the game. Everybody else doesn't even come close to that. He
No.
only had 6 total points and 3 fouls,
Mhm.
but he had 8 total rebounds. He was 2 for 2 at the free throw line, 2 for 4 shooting. Had 1 block shot, 2 steals. He did have 1 turnover and he had 1 assist. So not
Yeah, he
bad stat
probably.
line. And he played 23 minutes. But I saw on Corey's show last night, people were demanding that he not be playing anymore. That he needs to reduce his minutes.
They
You
say
know.
a
By
lot
the
of
way,
things.
Corey wasn't on the show. He had his buddy run the show for him last night, and they ran it short.
It's like you know, you listen to shows like that, and people just say the damnedest things. So Mr. Howard's a hell of a defensive player. That helps you in the plus in the plus minus area. Uh, it's half as important as the offensive stats. There's
Yeah,
two parts of basketball. There's the defensive court and there's the offensive court.
there
It's
you
like
go.
3-on-3 women.
Well, Jason
So
has another comment. I wish
yeah,
Jason would just get on here. He has the link to get on here live. Okay, the
yeah.
last 5 minutes of the game, both teams had 5 fouls. The difference in the free throws was because of the shooting fouls. Hence, Sturts fouled after committing a turnover, foul to stop a fast break. Yeah, yeah, I get that. I mean, that was great. I think his last name was Mark or something. Somebody named Mark. He he practically runs over this Mark kid, and then he turns around and Mark runs him over.
Yeah, he drew the charge.
Yeah, it's like it. He goes, "Yeah, take that." He looks at the ref.
And then
Yeah,
he
that's
then he po- then he
that's
pointed at the referee like, "Yeah, you called him both ways." So,
he
um,
did. He
yeah.
was fair.
But I made the comment, I remember in our little chat there, that somebody in the chat was running Sturts down. I won't say who it was. And I said, you watch, Sturts will be the guy that wins the game for you at the end.
Yeah.
And Sturts was the guy that won you the game for you at the end.
Well, and the thing is my comment, and it was me that he's talking about. I just thought we should bench Sturts for a while. And here's my theory, and Jason kind of backed it, not 100%,
Yeah.
but here's my theory was because I can't remember which game it was when he was in foul trouble, and we made our big comeback. I think it was Purdue. We made our big comeback with him on the bench because these guys had to guard us differently. Instead of double teaming and triple teaming Sturts every time, they
Mhm.
were guarding us normal, and we were able to get some work done. But when Sturts comes back in the game, all of a sudden, people are surrounding him. Well, I just thought maybe we could build this lead, get this lead and build it bigger with Sturts on the bench because these guys would have to guard it straight up instead of the style that they were because they were guarding Sturts to force everybody else to beat us and not Sturts, who turned around and had 21 points last night, I believe.
I don't know, but I just know I wouldn't, as a coach, unless a guy's playing pitiful or he's really tired or something. I ain't benching Larry Bird. I ain't benching Caitlin Clark. I ain't benching Brandon Sturts.
I get it, but sometimes it's a strategic move to throw the defense off. You don't want to. You get them on the bench for a little bit to throw the defense off because that the defense is geared to stop your number one guy, right?
It's like Nate Stanley's the only good quarterback we had at Iowa there for a while. Let's bench Nate Stanley because we only got 100 yards in total offense in the game the first 3 quarters. No, I think we better leave Nate in, and that's the way I think, and I think most coaches would think that. And another thing Ben said is a news conference, if you guys listen to it or whatever, he said, my team is very tired. We've played a lot of games in a short period of time, and we had the flu 1 week. And he says, I guarantee you tomorrow our players are not touching the court. We are going to rest, and he said when he was talking about lack of focus and concentration, he said, I think the guys are just tired, but anyway.
Wait. Rick brings up, he goes, I know I haven't seen this, but maybe you haven't. Have you seen any film on Afrin Diane from Iowa United Prep in Des Moines? He signed with Houston as the number 1 recruit center in the nation.
7'1". He's ridiculous. Yeah.
So Houston must have paid him a lot of money because that's somebody that you would think that Ben would be going after.
It was Calvin Sampson who was famous for paying players when it was illegal, So yeah, they're getting good money there. So
yeah, okay, all right. Well, anyway, I wanted to say that Sturts had 20 points last night. He only had 1 personal foul against him, and that was that late one. He drew 8 fouls though. Look at that. He knows how to get fouls. He knows how to draw fouls off of people. And that's something else we were talking about is how does he get fouls off? But he did have an off night of shooting, 0 for 6 from the 3-point line. His free throws were 4 for 5, 8 for 21 overall. But can we talk about the freshman of this game?
Mr. Sage?
Yes. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, I knew it was Purdue. I had to think about it for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. Tate Sage, 5 for 7 field goals, 4 for 6 from the 3-point line, 3 for 4 for free throws. He only had 1 rebound though. He had 2 personal fouls, but he drew 4 fouls off of somebody. 17 points, 2 assists. He did have 1 turnover, but he had 1 steal. And he was a plus 12. He had a couple blocks.
Did they give them to him?
Let me look. No, he did not. They did not give him the blocks.
Yeah, there was twice where a player drove past the free throw line and came up with a shot, and he got a hand on the ball, and the ball came up short, which I call that a block. And the announcer said, "Oh, that was blocked by Sage." But I wondered if the official scorer even seen it and gave it to him or not. But anyway.
Sometimes you wonder if
he's one heck of a player. So.
Yeah. Our boys right now are 14-5 with 8 days off, and USC is their next game at home. Oh, you mentioned Nate, and that everybody knows Jason loves Nate, and so he put up Big Nate with 4 hearts for him.
Yeah, you don't bench Nate Stanley. You don't bench Brendan Sturts. So
I'm going to say Nate Stanley had a great 3 years at quarterback. Nate Stanley was 3 years at quarterback for Iowa, did a very good job, and broke a lot of records.
He threw a lot of passes, and he was Very, 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 very good quarterback. What was I going to say? I seen this was before the Rutgers game that the next 11 games that the Iowa men play, these odds people have Iowa favored in all of them except one. And that's a home game against Purdue, and Purdue's a 1-point favorite. Is that like surprising to you, Dean?
Well, I do know, listening to
Can we
Chad's,
win 11 games in a row? I mean,
I don't think we will, but
the odds wouldn't be good, I wouldn't think.
Chad Lysicle said on the podcast I listened to this morning, it's like a day or two old. He said that Iowa was favored in their next 6 games, according to Ken Palm. Okay, so USC on the 28th at home. I believe we can get that one. Then we travel to Oregon. I believe we can get that one. We travel to Washington. I believe we can get that one. We come home, get Northwestern. We can get that one. We're at Maryland after that.
Maryland's bad.
Maryland's bad. Okay, so we should be able to get that one. Then we face Purdue at home. Okay, and
that's
then
the one. We're a 1-point underdog. That was before we played Rutgers. Now, since we played Rutgers, we've actually fallen in the Ken Palm and net rankings because we were supposed to beat Rutgers by more than that.
Okay, so anyway, that Rutgers must be the part of that 6-game stretch. The next 5 games, then it's Purdue at home, followed by Nebraska at home. You know, the question is will Nebraska be undefeated when they come to Iowa City? Because wouldn't it be fun to put take that goose egg off of that thing when?
Yeah, I can't believe Nebraska's as good as they are. You know,
I think a lot of people are shocked.
When you said we're going to play Nebraska twice this year, and I go, I think we're going to beat them twice, but I don't know now. But I don't because they're surprising me. You know, don't they play at Wisconsin? Like,
yes, it's coming up. Okay, so after those next 5 games, which we could be 5-0 during that stretch,
and we have Purdue and
Nebraska at Wisconsin, at Ohio State. Okay, so that part, I would say there's a rough 4-game stretch right there. And then we finish up with Penn State and then Michigan and Nebraska to finish the season. Well, so those actually, I would say 7 out of the last 8 games are almost unwinnable, in my opinion. I mean, we could win them.
Ohio State isn't unwinnable. You know, they're just a mediocre team. But 2 weeks ago we thought Wisconsin was a bad team, and now they've won like 5 out of 6 or whatever.
Wisconsin men have always had a decent team.
Yeah.
Sometimes they fool you and they look average, but they're not.
Yeah, that night we were on here and we said we're gonna predict our Big Ten standings, and I had Iowa men and women 4th. I'm looking at it right now. And I put Wisconsin up in 7th in the men. And I said, I know their record's crappy right now, but I think Greg Gard every year in the Big Ten turns things around. And boy, did he, so.
Yeah, he does. He does. It's just, he knows what he's doing. I thought at first he was just a product of the previous coach, benefiting from that. But he's had enough time and enough years now that he's way away from the previous coach's regime, and so he's still doing the things, and he's actually got them. Remember how it was boring to watch Wisconsin play because they'd slow you way down and stuff, and now Gard doesn't do that anymore. Now they run. They get out and run and score points.
Yeah. Did you want to are we done with basketball then, or?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that after I went realistically, and I put this on both group chats, that one with you and then the other one with the other guys. I thought realistically when I went through game by game, I've got Iowa going 10-10, and that would be a 20-11 season. So that's where I got him to finish the season. I don't know where 10-10 puts us in the standings, but I think
I
for
think
now I'm going to hold that. But Jason said he came on. He has him at 23-8 overall. I think he has him at 12-8. I think he has him at 12-8 or
well, I had it.
13-7. I think it's 13-7.
Yeah, I
the
had
Big
them
Ten.
fourth in the Big Ten, which means they'd probably lose about 6 or 7 games. When they had the flu week where they went 0-2, that ruined my expectations of fourth in the Big Ten. But we'll see.
Okay.
I got faith in Ben.
Alrighty. So we won't do any previews on the USC game because that's 8 days away, and the guys aren't even going to practice for a couple of days. They need the rest. And the coach said he's taking his wife for a walk tomorrow.
Taking the wife for a walk?
Yeah. He said he wants to just get outside and enjoy the fresh air and not think about basketball.
Hope he don't use a leash.
You're funny. Okay.
Well, I thought it was funny. Taking a wife for a walk. It's like, what does that mean?
All right. Going for a walk with the wife.
We're going to talk a little portal news.
Yes. But first, before I do, I listened to a podcast that you may have listened to it already that Chad Lysico did with Beth Getz. I know that bits and pieces came out, but I listened to the whole thing this morning, and it was done back at the bowl game, so it'd been a while. And I thought a couple things struck me. He asked her about. He said that Kirk said that he expects to sign an extension. He asked Beth about that, and she would not come out and say it. All she would say is we do want Kirk to retire here. He and I are always talking to see where we're at with each other. He says, yeah, we may tweak a few things in the contract, but she never once said extension. I think she wants him. I'm just reading between the lines. My feeling is she wants him gone when this contract is over, the current contract.
Well, I think he probably will be, but she also, when he said, well, contract extension is probably going to have to be made, and she said, yeah, it's like that, but we're not going to go there yet. We're going to talk to Kurt and keep updated on this. And obviously, if he stays another year and goes into another year after that, you got to have a public extension, or recruiting is going to fall way off because
I agree with that because
recruits are going to. It's just for public consumption. It's not that. It's something you have to do for recruiting purposes,
And I actually agree with that because you are going to chase recruits away, and you're going to end up your career like Hayden Fry did on a down note because people will start using that against you if you don't have that contract extension.
Yeah,
as well as your age.
Yeah, I think Beth wants to keep Kirk around as long as he's of sound mind, which he obviously is, and
the thing is
the model that they're running there at Iowa now that they finally have some profit revenue sharing to spend and spending it wisely. They're going to win they've been running at a very high level, averaging 9 wins a season for 11 years, but they're going to tick it up a little higher when everybody else said, oh, when we add these teams from the Pac-10, Iowa's going to go down. Well, I don't think so, I really don't, Dean. I mean, I think our roster looks better with this portal than it ever did with we used to every year, and I would show to Jason all the time because he didn't keep track of walk-ons like I did. And I'd say, look, Jason, in the 2 deep, we have 13 walk-ons. What? And then I'd name them, well, that ain't going to happen anymore because we just got 4 safeties in the portal and the walk-ons ain't playing safety anymore, so.
Jason, you're welcome to come on and defend yourself on this if you want to.
Defend him on what?
I don't know. I'm just wanting him to come on.
No,
Jason,
he
you're
didn't.
part of
He
this
didn't
show.
know.
Where are you? Come on.
I would point out to him who came to Iowa's walk-ons,
Yeah.
and nobody who follows that other than me, Dean.
Nobody.
Yeah. No,
No.
I
I actually
started
try to
calling us.
follow it.
I started calling us walk on you, and when I started saying that, people would say, "What does that mean?" And I go, "We use the walk on program more than any other school, major college team in the country, because we had to, So
We use it to our advantage the best we can.
Mhm.
Here's a couple other things that she mentioned. One, they hope to announce by this time next year, or at least in December when the bowl game took place, the renovation of Carver Hawkeye. Something about getting suites built into the arena, luxury suites. And I don't understand this. They said the concourse was built for hot dogs and snow cones or whatever, ice cream cones and stuff. I don't know what that means. If that means they're going to try to take them out, or they're not going to try to add anything to the concourse.
They'll probably add things up there on the concourse that are more revenue producing. And
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means an NIL store. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now. I've
Yeah.
been to Carver Hawkeye many times, and there's very few food vendors in that place.
Yeah.
There's long
Yeah.
lines because they're not spread all over the arena. They're just a couple. Like there's one place to get Carver cones. One place.
I think she said she's in the middle of raising the money for this and the planning. And did you say 45 to 50, 60 million?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to bring up too that she talked about is when, again, this remind you, this was back in December at the bowl game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is before everybody had their meltdown over the loss to Penn State. And I think did we lose to somebody else during that stretch too? Anyway, doesn't matter.
Well, we got like destroyed by, was it Ohio State or Nebraska?
Yeah, Ohio State back in the duels, and we still have to wrestle that. And it's not part of the Big Ten duels at that time. It's just a regular duel. But now it's going to be, we're going to wrestle them again. We got Nebraska coming up this week, Ohio State coming up after that, and I believe Oklahoma State or something.
Yeah, I understand that wrestling is like this weird thing at Iowa, where this is like this society in the background kind of runs wrestling. All the money, it isn't come from the swarm, it comes from these guys that, and I think in the past they've been big supporters of brands, but
I will tell you what the biggest problem.
I would think that brands is what his strategy now just ain't working.
No.
It's
not everybody fell in love with was the attacking style. We would attack first, we would make them react. Now we're kind of reacting, and then we're just kind of getting ourselves into a position to be called for stalls because, it's like, okay, I got up 2-0, or I got to take down 3-0. Now I'm just going to try to stall my way through this,
I think it just seemed like the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years have been Brands' kind of strategy was, hey, let's go get these wrestlers for 1 or 2 years that finished 4th in the NCAA from I don't know what school. They got one guy from Wartburg, they got guys from Tennessee, Chattanooga, and stuff, and they come in. And that's how he thought he was going to beat Penn State or compete with Penn State. Kind of a shortcut.
Well,
when Dan Gable would get a transfer once in a while, like Kistler, Tom Ryan, the crazy guy from Oklahoma. What was his name? He was exciting, but weirdo.
John something. I can't think of John.
No. Brinzer, Ray Brinzer.
Okay, all righty.
He was like the Rico Chiapparelli of Oklahoma. Just the weirdest takedowns you ever seen. You never knew what he was going to do, and he had his freaky curly hair, and he looked like a kid that was into chemistry or something.
Yeah.
But,
But I mean,
but
it's
anyway,
just that.
but Gable would get them guys, just a few of them, once every 3-4 years. But the Gable way was getting guys that were ultra effort, ultra built. They weight trained. They were in the best shape of anybody, and they attacked, like you said.
Mhm.
And I think
guys don't
Brand's
attack
doing a little
anymore.
short.
Yeah.
What?
I think we got one wrestler on the team that attacks. Ferrari. He attacks,
Yeah,
but
and he's
he
hurt.
attacks from he attacked from his knee.
I think
I did not
if
know
you
that.
watched him in the last meet,
Hmm.
about halfway through the second period, all of a sudden he started like, "What is wrong with my leg?" I'm afraid he injured his quad like Cade McNamara did that year and Caitlin did last year, and I don't think he's going to wrestle for a while now. But
Okay,
from
well,
what
we'll
I
find
hear,
out. We'll see when the wrestling lineups come out for Nebraska this
that
week.
that quad thing above your knee, it's nothing you can rush back from. It's
Okay, that's too bad if we lost him because he was actually the only real wrestler we have left after Drake Guyella is,
yeah, we had
he's bombed this year. How does a guy 2 national runner-ups 2 years in a row and end up being, like not even ranked anymore? He's not even ranked in the top anymore.
Yeah, we had a couple guys that I thought beginning the season, gave a pretty good effort, but the rest of them, it was like, this is not Iowa wrestling, and I don't want to be a complainer, but
No. But
anyway.
okay, anyway, getting back to my question, Chad kind of asked about Branch. Of course, she dodged that one too. Saying it'd be based on performance, and we'll look at it as a whole, not just as a season and stuff
She's
like
not
that.
gonna
So
she's not gonna
Branch
throw
ain't going
somebody
nowhere.
under the bus.
I just want to
She ain't
say,
gonna
I just
she
wanted to
ain't
say,
gonna throw some coach under the bus that's in the
no,
middle of the season.
no, she's not.
She did
First of all, that was a dumb question by Chad.
She did Brian Ferentz, but that was the President Wilson doing that.
Yeah.
You know.
No,
So
and I agree with you. And twice, I mean, just from her answers, when she said we'll look at not only the season but as a whole, and evaluate at the end of the year, his job is safe. As a whole, he's done well at Iowa.
then he says to her, with Coach Ferentz's age, are you thinking about having a short list, in case he retires next year or something? And she just says, I got a short list for every coach that works under me. Because
Yeah.
I might have to. She says that's the job of an AD to always be prepared.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, he
duh.
was trying to get her to say, well, are you going to hire from within, or are you going to do a national coach search and
Well,
stuff? And then
she's gonna.
he
She
used
knows.
the example at
She's gonna
Iowa
do.
State.
She's gonna do a full blown search.
Yeah.
At,
But anyway,
yeah.
he he used the Iowa State coach leaving for Penn State. In fact, that within the hour after the announcement that they had their new coach in place, and she says, well, obviously Jamie knew what was going on ahead of time. We may not have known, but he knew in order to have that in place already. He had that ready to go.
Yeah, he had a lot more than 1 hour to get ready because, Campbell, it was all over the news for 3 or 4 days before Campbell went to Penn State. The Pollard had a minimum of 3 or 4 days to say, hey, I better get on this. But he probably had it figured out, way ahead of time. But
Okay,
anyway.
so let's finish up with talking about our portal news. And I got a couple, since our last show, I got a picture of, I think, of our last 2 signees or commits.
I don't remember where we were on the last show, but we fill a cut or whatever his name, the punter.
Mm-hmm.
There he is.
Yep, he's right there.
Left-footed punter.
Yep, and then this one, Cody Haddad. Yep. His dad actually played. You're going to give us some information on these guys?
Yeah, his dad played, and then actually, he's probably like George Kittle. He gets a lot from his mother because his mother is the daughter of Hall of Famer Ed O'Neill, who was
Oh,
a
really?
Penn State linebacker, and I think he was with the Detroit Lions forever as a NFL linebacker. And Haddad's dad was in the NFL he played in 2 NFL games, but he was on NFL rosters for several years.
Okay.
But
So what do you know about this guy? We know that he was at Ohio State
I know
last year.
I know quite a bit. I
Okay,
know
I'm
quite a
gonna let
bit
you
because
talk here.
Iowa kind of wanted him out of high school. He's from St. Ignatius in Ohio, and he's kind of if you watched his high school film, you thought you were watching Riley Moss, because he's about Riley Moss's size. He runs a 10,900 meters, which is Riley Moss speed probably. It's real fast, and he's kind of you'd kind of throw him in there with his ball skills. He'll jump up his weight. He is a basketball player with a great vertical, and he's got these great hands. And he's 5'11", 176, they say, which I don't know what his real weight is right now. But he plays real taller than that because he has a great vertical. And he'll jump up and catch a ball. He's looking at the receiver and the ball's coming from behind him, and he'll jump up at the last minute and backhand and catch the ball with one hand. Very talented guy. He can play wide receiver, cornerback, cash, safety. He was supposedly a safety at Ohio State. He left Ohio State because Ohio State, spends millions in the portal for an All-American safety from someplace else. And he's got 4 years left, but he can kick return, punt return. He's kind of that type guy that is like a Cooper DeJean, Lutmer, Nestor, Aiden Hall, who retired from football at Iowa, and Riley Moss. These guys that have ball skills and good speed, and he's got 4 years left. And then he's got a brother, Trey, who's a junior in high school this year. So, he could come to Iowa next year. He's a wide receiver. He's taller. He's like 6'1" or something. But I haven't seen any track speed on him. I seen his high school tape today as a sophomore, and for a sophomore, he looked good, but, I can't swear his brother's quite as good as him, but I'm sure his brother, who has good offers already, I'm sure is going to visit Iowa now, I would think.
Well, is he a transfer portal person, or is he still in high school?
He's a junior in high school.
Okay, got it.
Younger brother. This kid here this was his first year. This was his first. He was like, this is his first. He's like Jimmy Sullivan. This was his first year in college this year. And of course, he did not play for Ohio State, so he's got 4 years left. The one that's great that committed today, and he could have made a lot more money. His visits were Tennessee, Nebraska, and Texas A&M, and then he come to Iowa. And I knew he was going to commit to Iowa. He did. Okay. He wanted to play. I think he wanted to play for Iowa. Because he knew that he had a chance at Iowa. They'd give him a shot, and we did not pay him anywhere. I'm not saying Texas A&M was offering him $500,000 or something, but I have no idea what these kids make.
Yeah.
But
Cyhawk says Moss to Gene and now Haddad. There you go. Mm-hmm. There's your reason, because DeJean and Moss are making money in the NFL.
Yeah.
There's a reason to come when you're playing the same spot they did.
It's like Iowa, officially all these media people will say, Iowa got 4 safeties in the portal, which is Hawkins, Styles, Brown, and this kid. But all 4 of them guys are guys that can play cornerback. They're not just safeties. The guy I know Jason really liked Hawkins. He's like 6'3". He's like a 6'3" version of Entringer, a great athlete. And then Brown, who's rated the highest, he isn't real tall. He's like 5'10", 190. He's got kind of a persona like he's no Bobby Sanders. Bobby Sanders was built like a brick crap house, but Brown is that type of guy, tough, and then the guy I like the best is Styles, who's also kind of tall, but he had a coverage grade in PFF of 90. And he reminds me of a tall Desmond King's only like 5'11". This guy is a couple inches, 2 or 3 inches tall, 3 inches taller, maybe 4 inches taller. But he covers just like Desmond King. I'm excited about Styles and other people that don't. The media probably thinks Styles is the poorest one of the bunch. But all four of them, so-called safeties, can play cornerback, cash, or safety. So
Cyhawk said the DB room went from being a weakness to a strength. I would agree with that.
And I was excited.
Kyle Reimer says, let me get it real quick here. I could have sent a link for Kyle to come on tonight too. He's already good. Kyle says, Kevin Allen Fisher, how is that baby horse doing?
I got 2 of them.
Okay.
They got one the 13th of January, and Lily had a filly the 13th of January, and then Callie, Callie had one. I seen her yesterday. She was 2 days old. She had it the 18th. So I got 2 filly colts. So very good ones. Very good ones, even though I'm not supposed to say anything about them. So.
Okay, cool.
Alrighty,
let's talk about the punter that we got from Simpson.
Yep.
Let's talk about him. What do you know about him?
43-point-something yards a punt. He's left-footed, as you can see in the picture. I think he's a walk-on, which most kickers and punters are walk-ons. It's like Ozick, the kicker. I think he's a walk-on. He'll come in and compete with Burr, and this guy will compete with, I think we will get the Australian high school kid. And we'll probably, no coach or nobody at Iowa is going to talk about him until he signs a letter of intent, because it's against the rules to even mention it, unless he puts it out on public internet that, hey, I'm going to Iowa, but.
Okay.
And
Kyle
he
says,
would probably get a scholarship to come from Australia, and he would come in and compete with this guy. Iowa people come in to compete. They don't say, "Oh, you're going to start," So
Kyle says, very nice. I can come on next week. Okay, great. Got some scoop on Iowa football from Iowa football. Well, Kyle, you were right on your you were absolutely right and correct on naming Jada Soybert as our new women's recruit. Do you want to share your scoop now with us while we're still talking football, or do you want to wait till next week when we put you on the show?
Well, we're going to be on Sunday.
So we're going to be on Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll cover some of the women's game on Sunday.
Is that all the guys you wanted to cover on the portal?
Yeah, okay. I wanted to go through the list. You sent me this list and wanted me to talk about it a little bit.
Well, we have 15 guys, and we also got the high school long snapper, and I think we're going to get the high school punter. And I would presume that our scholarships are about all used up, but Kirk and Tyler Barnes would know. Nobody else would. How many, what our roster looks like right now. So I want to cover something else. I want to cover something else before we go off the air. So
yeah, it sounds good. Give me just a second here.
Yep.
Kyle, it's on this Sunday at 7 p.m. Central, so you're welcome. Send me your information. I think did I have you on the show before? I can't remember. But send me your information.
Yeah. He was on twice.
But send me your information anyway, because I know I don't have it somewhere anymore. I
Yep.
forgot about.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can go on Hawkeye. Just message me on Messenger,
Yeah.
and give me your login information, and not login, but your information to send you an invite. So just because I can't, you know
Well,
how my mind works.
it's just like Entringer leaves, right? And Brian Allen leaves, and they get a lot of money to go
Hmm.
someplace, right, Dean?
Hmm.
It's
Yes.
like it's like the NFL system. The Chicago Bears have a safety who is great. He's from Penn State. I can't remember his name. Jason would know him. And his rookie contract's running out. Well, the Bears probably is not gonna re-sign him because he's probably gonna cost $10 million. Iowa chose not to give Entringer this huge amount of money and Brian Allen this huge amount of money. And we brought in four, probably six players with that money.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely right.
that's how you roster build in the NFL, and that's how you. It's like the Denver Broncos are probably not going to sign Raleigh Moss back because it's a big chunk of money. You can't do that. You can't. You can't. You can't have a bunch of guys on your team using up 10% of your salary cap.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's well, you ever seen the movie Moneyball?
Well, hell yes.
Okay, it's how Oakland Athletics built their team
Mhm.
by getting rid of all the big names, and but there was it was basically a computer, but they filled their roster with
Cheap
no
guys.
name people with lower money, and I believe they won the World Series that year or something like that.
Well, they didn't, but they made it into the playoffs. You know.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, okay. All right. One thing before you,
Mhm.
people kind of been asking about where some of these people that left Iowa went. Okay.
Mhm.
No, Jackson Stratton has not ended up anywhere, so I don't know what's going to happen with him.
Stratton, I commented to a lady, I think on your site. She goes,
Yeah.
"Well, Stratton, she didn't go no place." And I go, "Stratton is very ill.
Hmm.
He's been ill all year. He can't keep food down, lost a lot of weight. So you just pray that don't worry about the kid going playing football. Just pray that he gets better health
Yep.
wise.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know,
All right. Cornerback C.J. Bell went to Connecticut. Running back Terrell Washington Jr. committed to New Mexico State. Kale Koloric went to South Dakota. Safety. I was actually looking forward to seeing him. I was a little
he's a good
disappointed on
player.
that one. Yeah. Defensive end Brian Allen went to Vanderbilt. Wonder how he'll do there. Cone Ettinger is
Oh,
another safety.
his bank account will look very good, Dean.
Yeah.
And he's a damn good player.
Yeah, he
Go
is.
ahead.
Yeah, he was being counted on next year, as was Cone Ettinger, who committed to Louisville.
Mhm.
Running back Jesse and Pattern committed to Michigan State, and of course, everybody knows about Reese Dakin going to Michigan State as well.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4. Those last 4 or 5 people are chasing the money. The others are
Yeah.
chasing playing time.
I'm getting a little I'm getting a little peeved. I'm not peeved that the two guys transferred to Michigan State, but
Mhm.
I'm a little bit peeved that the kids in high school in Iowa that LeVar was recruiting for us, that Michigan State wasn't interested at all. All of a sudden they're all getting offers from Michigan State,
Well, you knew
you
that was
know.
going to happen. Everybody that LeVar Woods was on is now.
You know, they're not gonna I'll guarantee you something, Dean. He ain't
Mhm.
gonna get none of them. But it kind of pisses me off a little bit, you know, to that was all the background. Michigan State don't know nothing about these guys, and all the background's done on Iowa money coming to Iowa camps. You know, there's plenty of football players in the state of Michigan and Chicago. You don't need to go to Odebolt, Iowa,
Mhm.
and talk to
Yeah.
Cooper DeJean's brother. You know,
Right in
that
Detroit.
just kind of miffs me a little bit. You know.
Yeah, right in Detroit. They got a whole shitload full of them.
There's plenty of schools. Southfield, Michigan. All the schools. There's plenty of
Yeah.
schools, and Michigan State gets a lot of players out of Ohio and every place, and Chicago's always been a good town for Michigan State. But that just kind of miffed me a little bit. I still love LeVar, but quit it.
Oh God, I caught myself doing this, and I think I've seen Kyle or Kyle Kluber do this on his show a lot.
Yeah.
I just reminded myself of Kyle Kluber.
Oh,
Anyway,
Kluber, I sent you a little thing today. He goes, I think Dakin left because he wasn't going to punt anymore. He goes, Dakin's first year he punted 66 times, and last year he only punted 40 times. Which is actually only 33% of it reduced his punting by 33% of tries. Kluber was kind of joking, but it was the point what Tim Lester and Mark Gronowski could do for you. That we were successful on third and fourth down, and we didn't punt as much. So that's a good thing.
No, and that's a great thing. I mean, not for a punter, but it's a great thing, and it's pretty sad when your punter the last few years was getting the most yards in the game than anybody else. And it's like, really? Okay.
Goes to show you what an offensive line can do too. So.
Okay. See, Cyhawk says Caden Proctor felt like he was settling on Iowa, and then Iowa lands the Joe Mort Award. Poetic justice.
Yeah.
Would we have won the award if we had Caden Proctor? I don't know. I've watched him. He's not that great. He's kind of lazy,
I know, but
really.
he'd have been a lot better player under Kirk. Yeah, he'd have been a lot better player because he'd had to work harder, or he'd left. If he didn't want to work, he'd leave.
Is he coming out for the pros for NFL this year? Because he's eligible.
Oh, he'll be a first round draft pick. He's in the NFL draft. Before the season started, he was supposed to be like the 6th, 7th guy picked in the draft. Now he's in the 20s because he cannot pass block. He'll probably be a guard.
Well, I guess NFL people know more than I know, but when I watched the games he was involved, I just thought, man, I'm glad we don't have him.
It was like people were saying he was supposed to be first team All-American, and I watched Alabama play, and they're keeping their tight end in to help him pass block, to chip on players. If you're an All-American, we didn't need anybody to chip when we had Brandon Scherf pass blocking. No. Tristan Wirfs didn't need Hawkinson helping him pass block.
Alrighty. Let's do this. I know you wanted to say some other stuff. Why don't you wrap us up?
I just have one thing I want to do. So
okay, why don't you wrap us up with that?
Oh, okay. The thing I wanted to do is we were doing position groups, and a quick one I could do tonight, since we're all done in this position group. We've done all the offense except wide receivers, which is it's got my head spinning on wide receivers, who's going to play, because nobody knows. We all know that Vanderzee's playing.
Hey, stop for just a second. Just stop for a second.
But we're not going to do wide receivers. We're just going to do running backs, because that'll be quick.
Yeah. All right, no problem. Just stop for just a second. Cyhawk wants to know what happened to Nick Brooks out of Cedar Rapids. He went to Texas, right? And then he left there?
Yeah, he played at Texas, the school he transferred to. Did he transfer to Georgia or Tennessee? He already transferred. But anyway, he played at 5 different high schools, a different high school 5 years in a row, junior high and high school 5 years in a row. He committed to Iowa, decommitted, then committed to Iowa again. Then he went to Texas, and he played some as a true freshman at Texas, went in the transfer portal. And he went to another SEC school, Tennessee or Georgia, I think. But he's going to be on his 7th school in 7 years. So that's his story.
Oh, he's going to Alabama.
Alabama. He'll pass block better than than Proctor, I predict. He's
sure
like 6'8" and weighs about 350, 60 pounds as a freshman. I don't know how ambitious he is, but he's got way longer arms, much more of an angular pass blocking type guy and he's a left tackle. So.
All right, I'm going to let you finish up now.
Okay,
Sorry
we're just
about
going to do the
interrupting.
running backs, and you can chime in on the running backs. But I
Yeah.
foresee the running back room this year being a four-headed monster. I really do think that that L.J. Phillips from South Dakota is going to be the best one. If I had to pick my second favorite one, it'd be the guy with the best hands on the team and the biggest guy, and the guy that's the most like L.J. Phillips, which is Xavier Williams. And then you got Moulton, who ran for 800 yards almost in what, 2/3 of a season?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got McNeil, who's the phenom. So there's 4 super running backs in that room. And then you got Brevin Dahl, who was injured and just pretty much played on scout team when he was not injured. I don't know how good he's going to be. I know people love him because he's from Iowa, and maybe he'll be great too. I don't know. He's a great in a 100-meter dash. And then we have Braden Jackson, the walk-on, who's Fred Jackson's boy, who has been very impressive in practice as a freshman walk-on this year. He's going to be very good. And then the other guy is the guy we brought over. He helped us in scout team because remember this year when we had 4 running backs hurt at the same time? We needed, and Brevin Dowell was also injured. So we had this guy we thought was going to be a pro safety named Olante Dean from Florida.
I forgot about him.
Big time recruit. I think he's your son because his last name's Dean.
But my last name is not Dean. It's my first name.
I don't know, but it was funny anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, and he's a great athlete. So they needed somebody to mimic like the Oregon running backs and stuff on the scout team because they're out of running back. So they pulled him over, and he is so good that they just said, and they knew they were going to lose a couple guys in the portal, so they moved him to running back for the last month and a half of the season. And he's very good. It's like we have no worries in the running back room, Dean. It's pretty good. But
Yeah.
and
Well,
who would you think that the pecking order? Do you think they'll just stick with Moulton? He'll be number one to start, and then it'll be a battle. What do you think?
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking Moulton would be the number 1 guy, and then the next 3 would be battling, like kind of like this year, just kind of like taking turns, and whoever's got the hot hand will go. But Moulton would be the number 1 guy. But I was listening to earlier this week, Lockdown Iowa, and he went with his 2 early predictions for 2 deeps, and he put L.J. Phillips as number 1.
5'9", 225 pounds. Is that like a bowling ball look or a pop machine? What?
I think it's more like a Jazzy and Patterson type.
Oh,
runner.
Good God. Jazzy and Patterson weighed like 200 pounds. This guy's 5'9", 225. Did you look at his tapes, Dean?
I have not had a chance to look at his tape, but I imagine that he can bowl right through the line and just rush right through a line and give him a little hole. He'll do the rest.
I know Jason would help me with the name, but there was this guy that was the number 1 pick for Oakland, Genty. I think he was like,
Genty, yeah.
I think he was in the Heisman running. Was he at Boise State or some?
He's from Boise State, and he ended up where?
He's first pick for the Oakland Raiders this year.
How did he do? I know the Raiders kind of sucked this year.
So Oakland didn't have a very good. They didn't have a very good running game. Hopefully he'll be with Mendoza in the backfield next year. But that's who this kid reminds me of. I know it's ridiculous.
Are you predicting Mendoza goes to Oakland because?
He'll be the first pick in the draft.
Former quarterback of Oakland Raiders, or now Las Vegas Raiders, Derek Carr says that they shouldn't draft Mendoza. that
Well,
they should stick with the quarterback that they got.
I think let's talk about Mendoza a little bit.
Okay.
He doesn't have this arm where he throws the balls 100 miles an hour and 70 yards downfield, but he throws the ball like Tom Brady, has more of a release like Dan Marino or something. But this kid can run, and guess what? Before he got the chance to go play college football at California, wherever he went, he was going to go to Yale. The kid's brilliant. I think Tom Brady, who owns part of the Raiders now, they're going to ask him, should we draft him? And I think Tom Brady sees himself in that kid, except this kid's a better athlete. This kid didn't hardly ever make a mistake, did he, all year, Dean, except throwing in Loopmer's area?
Wait a minute. It's yeah, that one's one mistake that we've seen this year. Brady's an owner of the Raiders, or part owner.
Yeah. He owns like I don't know. I was gonna say 10%, but on the NFL Network and all these people that talk all the time, like Cowherd and everything, they say that Brady's actually going to be in the advising them on who to draft, specifically quarterbacks. And Brady is a very smart about, and he wants an unselfish person. And Mendoza is like Brady, very unselfish, very much.
Why would he say publicly? Why would Brady say publicly that he doesn't think they should draft him, that they should stick with the quarterback they got? Why not draft him and let him sit a year?
Brady didn't say that. You said
I saw it on an article.
No, it was that other quarterback that used to play for the Raiders.
Well, yeah, Derek Carr said that, not Brady. Yeah, you're right. Derek Carr said that. Because Derek Carr is still a Vegas guy.
If Brady drafts a quarterback for the Raiders, I don't know who their quarterback is, but Brady might tell them, "Hey, let him sit the first half of the year and learn." I don't know, but to me, he's a Yale guy. He's got a brain good enough to go to Yale. It ain't going to take him very long to figure out.
Okay, so Mendoza to the Raiders, that's probably going to be the unsurprise of the year. Okay. All right, now Skyhawk says McNeil is possibly Wadley 2.0. Didn't you say that?
I think he's Ronnie Harmon. The kid weighs more than Wadley ever did. When he came, the day he walked on the campus at Iowa, he weighed 205 pounds. Wadley never weighed 205 pounds in his dreams. Wadley come in at 170.
And never gained weight.
Wadley come in at 170, and Kirk tried to get him up, and he'd get up to 189. And then Wadley ate before he went to the NFL, ran for the pros. He did weigh in at 202, but he ate so much it slowed him way down on his 40-yard dash. So it didn't help. It did not help him. He is not Wadley. He's very nimble like Wadley as far as a running style. But to me, he's Ronnie Harmon. I mean, he broke the 20-yard dash record for a running back at Iowa, already. And Xavier Williams is the fastest one otherwise for 10 yards. But
okay. All right. How about Cyhawk says Fred Green plus 25 pounds. Who's Fred Green?
Fred Russell.
I don't know.
Fred Russell, and then there was Sean Green.
Yeah.
Maybe he's combining Fred Russell, who was 5'4",
and
with Sean Green.
That makes sense.
The washed-up walk-on said that L.J. Phillips is Sean Green, except a little faster than Sean Green.
I would take that. Was their comparison. If they said that, I would take
comparison. That. When Penn State was dying to get him, he's an ultra good running back. But
yeah. Alrighty. I think this is a good place to kind of wrap things up for the night. He said that. He said Russell plus Green.
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm getting, like I told you beforehand, finally after doing this with Dean for I don't know, if Have we been doing it for a year? I don't know.
I think we started about a year ago because Paul couldn't come on and Jason took a break.
Well, Jason, I remember the text message in the messenger. Jason said, "Get Kelvin on," like that. So you go, okay. He asked me on, and I was so nervous. I'm finally getting relaxed, at this.
Well, no, I mean, Jason, the first time he saw you on here, he asked me in a private text, he said, "Who was that guy?" He goes, "You got to get him on more often. He knows his stuff."
Well, I was just appearing in your comments for a long time. You guys would say something, and I'd say, "Oh, that was such and such."
Yeah.
That was such and such. Because I know facts.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
the first time I was on was when Tim Lester was hired. I'd never been on any podcast, any place. And I was the only guy that was positive on Tim Lester. So
that's why I brought you on.
We have a guy. Tonight we have a guy who actually likes the Tim Lester hire, and he's going to explain why. And then all these people were attacking me, which I thought, what the hell? Why are people attacking me? That night. But it was like,
right?
Yeah. I'm glad that once in a while I get attacked on here in the messages, but I'm glad that people have kind of calmed down as far as I really just try to give information out that I know or hear or read.
Well, judging by the comments that I've read and comments in some of our YouTube videos and stuff, you are well liked. People like you.
I don't know. It was so funny.
Cyhawk says you're an old school encyclopedia.
Most of the opinions I give on players come from coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about, coaches, in junior high or something. I'm talking about coaches at Iowa or from Urban Meyer or Nick Saban. Or I like to find experts' opinions and stuff like that. But it was so funny on YouTube. I can't comment on your YouTube version on there or anything, but my best friend in high school commented the last one because when you opened the show, I was in the middle of this big yawn, and he goes, "Kelvin, yawn," like that. And that was my best friend. That was my best friend in high school, Mark Jurgensen. We went to school together. So
how come you cannot comment on the YouTube? How come you can't?
No, it says I have to log in or something.
Oh, it depends on where you're logging in from. Just go straight to the YouTube. Go to YouTube and look it up.
That's the way I do it. But anyway, I can't comment, which it doesn't matter. I do enough commenting on here, probably too much for some people's appetite. But
are you not following?
If you ever talk to Mark Jurgensen, he would tell you that in the mid '70s, I invented like analytics and fantasy football and stuff like that. I carried around this notebook in school. I was so good in school, I'd sit around and do all my sports stuff and everything in my notebook while the teacher was talking, because I was going to get A's anyway. And he will tell you that I had this pages of all this things predicting what wide receivers were going to lead, what the top 20 wide receivers in the NFL, which each one was going to get for yards, and what the passers were going to get and everything. He was telling me that the other day, and he said, I said, God, I forgot all about that, but
all right.
Anyway,
okay. Cyhawk says go Hawks, ladies tomorrow night with a question mark. Yes, tomorrow night. At Maryland. Okay, let's get out of here. We've done enough. We've done enough damage for one night.
Another win. I guarantee we're going to win 2 games this week, Dean.
Okay. Can you guarantee Ohio State?
Yes.
Okay.
They're a two-player team. If we handle their press, both these teams' presses will be 2 victories. And if I'm wrong, I will come on and apologize to everybody Sunday night.
Iowa women at Maryland tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Central Time. Do you know what the time is tomorrow night for it? That sounds about right.
It's 5 p.m. Iowa time.
That's Central Time. Okay.
And Sunday's at 1 o'clock Iowa time on Peacock. I hate Peacock.
I hate the fact that I'm going to be in church. Oh, wait a minute. I might not be in church Sunday.
And tomorrow it'll be 11 o'clock your time. And the game tomorrow night's on NBC, I believe.
Okay. That's crazy.
I hope everybody enjoyed the show.
We're going to get out of here. We got to get out of here. We've gone 2 hours. Nobody's going to watch us for 2 hours.
Oh, you watch. We'll have 400 views.
All right.
Yeah.
Famous blast predictions. Okay. 400 views, guys. Mm-hmm. Share this out with them. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Get it shared out so we can get 400 views.
You know what I'm going to do, Dean? I'm going to put in my headline, Talking Belgian Horses, and my 4,000 friends on Facebook are all going to tune in. So
we're going to give Cyhawk the last comment of the night. Death to Peacock. All righty. Let's get out of here. Thanks for watching, everybody.